Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So, this is part two. If you didn't see part one yet, you'll want to bounce over and see part one. There's a free link in the description box. And then you can bounce back over here to part two. This is kind of all focusing on a divine feminine's like quandary about reaching out to someone, a divine masculine, a two of cups, in fact, someone who she views as somebody who is stuck and may never reach out to her, even though she still thinks heavily about him, and she's been arguing and fighting with herself about why she shouldn't reach out to him. And yet we're looking at like all the different facets of this decision making and saying, okay, on the other hand, does she endure hurt and pain of wishing to do something but not permitting herself to, or does she do what she will be in her greatest and highest good for her own sense of peace and well-being as an empress? And we're kind of looking at the fact that she keeps having like a thought process, a desire, even a dream of them like impulsively connecting to her. So let's go ahead and ask this then for our empress, and we're going to call her the empress now. Actually, no, let's not look at her right now. We'll come back to her in just a minute. Let's look at him. So you are not reaching out to her at this moment. Ten of Cups is in the sideways position. Emperor is upright. He is not reaching out to her, even though his daydreams of being with her are like, oh my God, this would be amazing. We would have the Ten of Cups. I could imagine. So maybe that's why she's picking up so much on this. Maybe it's actually his like fantasy imaginings. Like I imagine walking in and there she is. And oh my God, it would thrill me. It would fill my heart. Can I ask, what is your just baseline underlying reason that you're not reaching out to her? The Hermit. He's been on this Hermit's journey, this long, dark night of the soul. So and we already saw that basically in part one. We didn't see it with the Hermit's card, but in part one, we saw him in a wounded energy. We saw him as a Nine of Wands. We saw why he wasn't reaching out to her. And sure enough, he's been healing something deep within himself. Five of Cups and the World. I keep feeling like he has this daydream though at some point, like maybe she's even the thing keeping him going as far as like, I got to keep healing. And she's my happy place in those moments where I'm unhappy. She is the thing that I picture, like, what would it be like though to, say the day that I'm done with some healing, and then there's her and me, and it's this happiness, and I walk into a room and there she is. And it feels like this is both his motivation, but then there's also this, it may make him cry. Here's my concern. I don't know right now if this is more motivational for him or if it instead just, sometimes we get into a rut and we say, oh, but I can't do that. I want, that would be amazing. It would be so great, but I can't. And then we hold ourselves back and we don't actually move forward. And I'm a little concerned. Is he doing that by like moving the goalposts and saying, someday? Or are you coming up to someday? Let me just ask. Again, we're looking for the baseline raw truth here. And we're going to call him the Emperor now, okay? Because he is an emperor, even if he hasn't, shifted and be able to look at himself that way, because he's not healed enough to look at himself that way yet. But he is a divine masculine. So let's ask, are you thinking that you're genuinely getting close to being healed? We have the Lovers. He definitely is like more of his thoughts turn toward one fine day, one bright sunny day. Even this, like I'm still at the bottom of the stairs, but I can see that bright light. I can see things are getting better. So he is projecting a little bit more and more like, I'm getting there. I'm getting closer. And I do feel like it's very heart-centered. Okay, so let me just ask this. Deep down, do you really want her to reach out to you, or do you want to get to the point where you're on your own, motor, you move toward her? Do you really want to hear from her, or do you want to go toward her? We have Three of Cups. This actually kind of says it won't matter so long as she's in my life. Okay, but I'm still trying to ask. I mean, there's one person picking up the mug. This is, getting together, and the Three of Cups is union, reunion. It's, in this case, it's having some kind of yummy brunch together. Are you wishing she'd reach out to you right now, really and truly? Would that be of benefit to you? Five of Pentacles. On one hand, it almost seems like he could really use her support right now. He could really use, okay, like think about, say, at the gym, because I know like that's a really great community. Lots of times, people are doing their workout exercises, and then like, whatever, your spotter is giving you encouragement to be like, oh my God, no, you got this. You can do one more. You got this, and it's like that cheer, or like at the end of a marathon, there's a crowd cheering on the marathon runners that are crossing the finish line. It almost feels a little like that. Like maybe he could use that perk right now. Not like, okay, please come into my life and give me everything and make it easy for me. No, rather, I've been out in the twilight for a long time. I've been walking this journey for a long time. I'm leaning closer and closer toward, being done with this journey, but I am a little fatigued, and I got some holes in my socks, and I don't know where my shoes went. And it would be amazing to hear something kind from her. Yeah. And let me ask this though. If you don't hear anything from her right now, then what? Strength card. He's like, you know what? Honestly, she lives in my mind so much that I feel her energy all the time, no matter what. She is still my motivation. She is the thought of her, the fantasy of being with her has actually propelled me forward all this time, regardless. So whether I hear from her or not, she's actually living up here. She's living in here anyway. I actually love that message because it says, I mean, sure, would it be lovely to hear from her? Of course. Will it change the fact that he is going to be finishing the journey that he has to take to heal himself before being ready for union? It will not change that one bit if she doesn't reach out to him, because she's already been a huge support and always will be. We see the infinity symbol here. Okay, then let me just ask this. Universe, let's ask the same question for him. What is the best possible thing for him, perhaps, right now to consider or to contemplate? We have Five of Swords. Could be that the universe is saying, what is it that you're fighting? Why are you fighting opening that door? Hierophant in the reverse. Universe is nudging him to consider if he is fighting his higher self. Hang on, this hints to me then. I can't say it. I got to not weigh in and say my opinion unless the cards show it. But I have an opinion. We got the Temperance upright. Okay, I'll go ahead and say it. He keeps thinking he's not done with this journey. And the universe is like, why do you think you're not done? Why are you insisting that it's still not yet, still not yet? Why are you fighting being aware that actually you're head and shoulders better off than what you were before? You're in an amazing place. Why not embrace that? Why do you keep thinking that you're still not there? You notice that we have a brick wall, but then painted on it is these glorious angel wings. It almost feels like his guides, his angels are trying to tell him, babe, the only brick wall you've got is that you haven't realized you already crossed the finish line. This is like the marathon runner who already crossed the finish line, but still says, I've got 10 miles to go. And this is like, no, honey, no. That's a brick wall in your mind. And you're not seeing what's painted right on it, which is this. I feel like his guides are trying to give him a message right now. How are you sending him a message, guides? We got King of Cups, and it is sideways. There may be little things around him. I know, first off, there could be an aquarium or a fish tank or something that is kind of reflective and filled with water. Water represents emotions, and seeing what's inside, a thing of water, like let's say, you're snorkeling and you see all these like things that have their secret life that live in the water, right? Yeah, and it's beautiful. You look into water, you go to an aquarium and you see this incredible other world that exists, and you see all these exotic, creatures that don't exist on land. And it's like, oh wow, there's so much inside of us, so many beautiful things inside of us. And so he may be seeing a symbol of something like that to maybe nudge him to like recognize there's something beautiful inside of him, which is his emotions, his love. Maybe he's not a dark night of the soul energy at all. Maybe he actually has so much, like, as of yet, submerged amazing qualities and amazing, beautiful, like, we'll say, emotion creatures swimming in the depths of him that he's not fully acknowledging. So the universe is trying to make him see what's right there. What is he filled with? What's under the surface? He's fantastic. This is a King of Cups. This is somebody who has so much to offer. If he somehow thought, because of scars, wounds, trauma, things that he was still saying, I've got to deal with, I've got to heal before I can be a partner. I've got to, I can't invite somebody into my emotions if I have all these like murky issues still to deal with. And I think the universe is saying, let us show you what you're really filled with. Let us show you, all the beautiful things that are within you. Why are you focusing on the fact that you had a wound that you had to heal and you've done a ton of that work? Why don't you focus on all of the beautiful things you bring to the table? I really like this, but I definitely think that some of the ways the guides are trying to show him this is like symbolically, looking in a tide pool, looking into a aquarium or a fish tank, or looking into something. I'm even picturing like looking into a snow globe, looking into anything where there's other beautiful things inside. Even like those like cakes and stuff that they'll put like a gel layer on, and like a gelatinized gel layer, but then there's other things underneath. Like there's some, I don't know why that's coming to mind, but like a very ornate, fancy like cake or something. But it just feels like the encouragement is notice what you are inside and see how much you bring to the table. So let's go ahead and step back further. I said we go back to our Empress, but actually I just want to get to the universe's highest perspective on this. What could be the best possible action and outcome here that our characters could take? Six of Cups. Soulmates, get on back into each other's worlds on this one. We have this blooming rose. We have her sleeping on a diamond. She's super brilliant. And because we have a feminine here, I'm going to say that this is talking about our Empress again. She is sleeping on a diamond, meaning she may be having a lot of like ideas, thoughts, memories, dreams that are right now. And it could have to do with, blossoming flowers, particularly roses are always, for me, it's about relationship. And I would just say, if she keeps having these like wonderful thoughts, perhaps of him, we see the hummingbird bringing in this ruby. It could just be that she keeps thinking in the context of, if I do care about somebody, I'm allowed to feel that way. I'm allowed to reach out to somebody. I don't have to fear, oh my God, will that make me look weak? Or will that make me look like I'm chasing? No, if I feel like somebody was that important to me, they'll always be that important to me, then simply giving somebody words of kindness, words of love, because they're still true. If I say them in my heart or if I say them out loud, it's all still true. So I can do this if that's what I feel compelled to do. It just kind of says, at least always do the thing in life. Not, we can't do stuff and then say, but I have to get this in return. She has to let go of that, right? She can't say, I'm going to reach out to him, but then I need to hear certain things back from them. Otherwise, I'll be devastated. No, the only way that this works is if she simply puts out there freely, because love has to be given freely. It's not a monetary exchange. It's not like, well, I bought that, so here's what I gave you. Now you give me this back, right? We give love freely. We feel the way we feel, whether or not we give it, we let somebody know and actually actively give that to them anyway. But this says, I think she's in that amazing place where it's like, you know what? Truth be told, if I feel like just telling somebody because they've stayed in my mind and I just want to tell them those words, I can go ahead and do that. Tell somebody that I think of you because you've been an important component of my life. I think of you with loving thoughts. I think of you in good thoughts. I hope that you're good. I've missed your voice. No idea what else I needed to say other than just that. And then we also have this 10 of Swords on his side. On his side, he needs to stop thinking he's still on this dark night of the soul, perhaps, and Stop making things like the zebra in the room. So the thing that stands out is that he's been done with this dark night of the soul for a while. She's wanted to reach out to him as a soulmate for quite a while. He's been done with this for quite a while. Even here it says stop. There's a stop sign. Somebody needs to make sure they're paying close attention, because he's not paying attention to the fact that he's already done. And all this says, pay attention to the signs. And we already saw that for him. Pay attention to the signs. With that stop sign in particular, it's like be mindful of one's driving right now character. We have the devil and we have the King of Wands. The devil here represents fear. And it could be fear also about like, just there's desire here, but there's also fear about like, but what if she doesn't want me anymore? And then her fear, back in part 1, we saw her think of him as a King of Wands. Her fear might be, what if I reach out to him only to discover he's had all these other partners? Because this card, although I have to cover a lot of it, there's a whole bunch of bodies, in like suggestive, alluring, whatever postures and such. But her thought might be, I'm actually scared to find out. Maybe he hasn't been like healing. Maybe he's been busy with other people. Maybe that was his healing, so to speak. And it just kind of says, facing any fears, and this is for both of them on one hand, facing fears is really important for these two, simply because, look, she can't expect that everything's going to be perfect and that she's going to get any perfect result. Maybe it'll turn out, because everything is still possible, right? Maybe it'll turn out that, oh, he's not my person. He really has, I've been in love with somebody that was maybe not who he really was. I'm afraid to find that out. But which I guess would be worse? Afraid to find that out and then keep living in a place of pain and thinking nonstop about it, or go ahead and find out if that's what she needs to do so she can lay this one to rest and move on. On the other hand, for him, it's, he needs to stop thinking he still has to heal. And if he's fearful, what if she won't still love me? What if she won't be attracted to me? If he has a ton to offer from his heart, that's a huge gift as a King of Wands, to give his heart. If he's scared, what if what I have to offer isn't enough still? Again, he won't know unless he connects to her and says, I wanted to give to you. You've been somebody I've been carrying around in my head and heart all this freaking time. It just says these two have to get beyond their fears to figure out what this thing is. Now, in this story, it was really beautiful because we saw two people that really care about each other. That's not always the way it goes. But this storyline was a beautiful one about two people who actually care deeply about each other. And it's really hard for them to start the reuniting, opportunity, even though they both want to reunite. Not always will that be the case, but in this storyline, it looks like these two could be really great together. So it was nice and refreshing to read a story like that. You guys, thank you for hanging out with me. Thanks so much for giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. If you do enjoy my fictional storytelling, really appreciate you guys. Lots of love. Bye for right now.